Hello and welcome to a extension of Chapter 7 of Trigonometry. What we're going to do is we're going to learn about the law of sine and law of cosine today. And this is an Algebra 2 topic. And so I just want to do a little bit of kind of pre-teaching. So when you guys see this in high school, that you'll have already kind of gone through it a little bit. Okay, my smartboard wasn't turned on. So, you're going to see this formula, sine of A over A equals sine of B over B equals sine of C over C. What this allows me to do is figure out either a side or an angle of a non-right triangle. So any triangle this works with. So it's pretty powerful actually. And basically, if we have one side and the angle opposite of that side, and any other side or any other angle of the triangle, we can find the side or angle opposite of that side or angle. So what that means is this. In this picture here, if I have an angle and a side across from it, so the 12 side and the 29-degree angle, then if I have this 19 right here, I can find that angle measurement right there using the law of sine. You can either do sine 29 over 12 equals sine of x over 19, or if you want to do 12 over sine of 29 equals 19 over sine of x, you're going to get the same answer. Now to solve this, what you're going to do is just cross multiply. So I have 12 times the sine of x equals 19 times the sine of 29. And then I'm going to divide by 12 to get rid of the 12. And then I'm going to do the inverse sign on both sides to get rid of the sine function there. So x equals inverse sine, and then all of this is going to go in parentheses. And make sure you close up the parentheses around the 29. So what you type in your calculator is sine 29, press enter, multiply that by 19, press enter, divide by 12, and then take the inverse sine of whatever that number is. And that's the law of sines. Here's another example. Use the following information in the diagram to determine how much closer you live to the music store than your friend does. Okay, so here's the music shop there. And we need to figure out B, we need to figure out A, and then we can subtract them to figure out how much closer you are than your friend. So I have the 34 and the 1.5, so that's what I'm going to use. I'll figure out what A is, so I'm going to use 81 in A. So we're going to do the sine of 65 divided by B, little b, equals sine of 81. I did that wrong. Sine of 34. Guess I'm figuring out what B is first. Sine of 34 over 1.5. You need to pick one pair, so like the 1.5 and the 34, you need to pick one pair that are opposites of each other. And then I have 1.5 times the sine of 65 equals B times the sine of 34. This one's nice because I don't have to apply the inverse sign on it. So I just divide by sine of 34, divide by sine of 34. And then B is already solved for, so B equals whatever that number is there. You would do the same thing for A, so you just do sine 34 over 1.5 equals, to find A, then we'd use the 81, sine of 81 over A. And that's all there is to that. And then you just solve it just like we just did. Now then we get into the law of cosines, which is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of a. This is a little more complicated formula, but basically it's a Pythagorean theorem, and then you subtract another number. So what you're looking for in this is this a here and this a here have to match up. They have to be opposites of each other. So you're looking for an angle measurement and the side length opposite of that angle measurement. From there, A and B are interchangeable. Or in this case, B and C are interchangeable. Okay, so let's give this a try here. I'm going to start with this problem right here. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the side opposite of A. We're going to call that, actually I'm just going to call it little a. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply this formula. Little a squared equals, and again, b and c are interchangeable, 19 squared plus 17 squared minus 2 times 19 times 17 times the cosine of 23 degrees. So it's basically plugging in a bunch of numbers into your calculator and then square rooting it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a calculator here, and I can just type this right into my calculator. 19 squared plus 17 squared minus 2 times 19 times 17 times cosine of 23, and that gives me 55.354. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to square root both sides to get a by itself. And so this process is actually quite slick, 7.44. And there's your value for a. Okay, not too bad. Now, I mean, once you have a, what's really cool about this, 7.44, now you can actually apply the law of sines, believe it or not, and you can figure out what the other sides are. So if, let's say I wanted to figure out b was, so now I can do sine of b over 17 equals sine of 23 over 7.44. So if you're solving a triangle, any triangle, you never have to do this crazy law of cosines more than once, because you can always apply the law of sines after you've done it once. Now I'm going to do one more question here, and this one is a little trickier. This one wants us to find the measure of angle C. So here, these are my angle and my side opposites. Now when I'm doing this, now C squared is kind of like the A squared. These two are the two numbers that have to match up here. So what I want to do, what I try and tell kids is 19, 17, 11, call this angle X. Those two are the two that have to match up. So 19 squared equals 17 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 17 times 11 times the cosine of angle X. The 19 and the angle you're looking for have to be opposites of each other. That will help you. Now, I'm going to go through the solving. This is tough. Put this in your notes, the steps that I'm going to write down here, because this is tough. What you're going to do is you're going to go through the following, and it's because this 2 times 17 times 11, that's where kids are going to make mistakes. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through the process. You're going to square the 19, you're going to square the 17, and you're going to square the 11. You can do 2 times 17 times 11, and that's 374 times the cosine of x. Here's what kids do wrong. They do 289 plus 121 minus 374. You cannot do that. And the reason why you cannot do that is because of this multiplication symbol right there. So you can do 289 plus 121, and that's 410. But you cannot do 410 minus 374. To solve this, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the 410. I'm going to scroll down here. I need a little more space. Okay, so we're going to subtract the 410. And I'm just going to use the calculator for all this to go a little quicker. Negative 49, negative 374 times cosine of x. Then what you're going to do is you're going to divide by negative 374. So negative 49 divided by negative 374. That gives me 0.131016. That's enough decimal places. Equals cosine of x. And then, just like what we did with trigonometry, apply the inverse cosine on both sides. And that gets rid of that. So, and I like to leave that 0.131016 right in my calculator, the inverse cosine of that number there, and we get 82.47 degrees. And that is your x. So, as you can see, this is difficult. Make sure this is in your notes. You're going to want an example. This, when you're looking for the side length, is much easier. You just type everything in your calculator, square root. So, we're going to practice this in class. If you guys need any examples in class, we can definitely go over an example. It's tricky. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat and make it seem like it's easy. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully you take away